What's good people? Welcome back to the Modern Man Africa YouTube channel. In today's episode, we'll be taking a look at male friendships in the modern day. As the war on masculinity rages on, it's finally made its way onto African shores. These modern women and soy boys are out here talking real reckless, so strap yourselves in and let's jump straight into this ridiculousness.
Man friendships last longer because they don't give a fuck about shit that does not matter.
Male friendships typically last longer because they have no intimacy or depth in their relationships. Men are not genuinely good at deep, intimate relationships. They're not really good at friendships in general where there's commitment, where they're showing up for each other, where there's consistency, right? Men are typically shallow in this way. And when your relationships are shallow, they can last a long time because two shallow people are not really going to beef about many things. They'll talk about their sports or their games or their hobbies or whatever common interests they have, and they'll never talk to each other for 6 months, and they come back and do it again, and that's friendship. Look, it's important to know that there are different types of friendships. Like, we don't have to talk to people every single day to be close with them. That's not what I'm getting at. But what I am saying is that men need to learn how to have intimacy in their friendships for them to actually be good and deep. Because if they're just shallow, you're not getting the pain of loss, but you're also not getting the joy of love, and that's fucking important.
Initially, I found myself being unsettled by what this guy's saying, but then I realized he's speaking from a personal perspective. I actually pity him for having not developed any meaningful friendships with other men. I hate to say it, but you can actually see that he hasn't spent much time with strong, masculine influences around him. His mannerisms are distinctly effeminate. He low-key reminds me of one of those BuzzFeed try guys with low testosterone. Male friendships have no choice but to be deep because men don't enjoy the same access to social safety nets as women do. Gents, we've all been in a bit of a bind at some point, right? More often than not, it's another man that's able to competently assist you in solving whatever problem you have without having an emotional outburst first. Men understand that nobody's coming to save us, which is why it's imperative for us to be there for one another. Deep male friendships are often formed during times of tragedy, trauma, or triumph. Just because men don't sit around and overanalyze the minutest detail of our emotional range, that doesn't make our friendships shallow or meaningless. In fact, I would argue it makes them far deeper. Men understand that if a friend who has his shit together, who usually doesn't ask for help, is asking for something, then it's usually important. And action needs to be taken swiftly. Men form deep bonds when we accomplish collective goals and achieve the seemingly impossible. We form deep bonds when we emerge battered, bruised, but united from situations that ought to have destroyed us. We openly give one another the utmost respect for enduring the most horrendous situations on the basis of knowing how hard it must have been to go through that. Our friendships well and truly are a reflection of where we are in life and the value we have to those around us. Gents, understand this. Male friendships will always come under scrutiny from women because they simply cannot compute maintaining relationships where there's no direct benefit for them being there.
Damn!
You know, I just watched this podcast where the speaker is saying we need to interrogate heterosexuality because the truth is men hate women and they're only with women because they're forced by the social construct of heterosexuality. But if you analyze men's interactions with other men, you come to realize that men do everything that they do just to impress other men, and because they literally live for validation from other men, they don't care about women.
What?
Men are literally in love with other men. Most men are homosexual.
Come on now, dawg. Come on, man.
Because why else would men disrespect, not listen to women, not put in effort to form meaningful connections with women the way that they do with other men? It's pretty obvious that women are not the ones that they want. Men are literally in love with other men. Most men are homosexual.
You know, my sister, rhetoric statements like these and many more of the ones that you made in your video are just a reflection and projection of the poor quality friendships that you as women have. You guys have placed the bar so low and you struggle at maintaining genuine friendships with other women. That's why when you see a man show another man the bare minimum loyalty and respect, you identify it as love or romantic feelings. And it's purely because women base their friendships on two things. You base them on what you guys have in common, and you base them on relevancy. You want to befriend the girl that is popular at school or on Instagram that has the highest following. You want to befriend a girl based on how nice she dresses because she dresses as nice as you do. Whereas men base their friendships on who we are and our skill set. We base our friendships on our differences so that our skills can compensate for each other where we lack as individuals. But you guys, you base your friendships on petty shit, on materialistic shit, on what you guys have in common. That's why your friendships never last, because you base them on superficial stuff. So because it's superficial, it means loyalty can never be part of the equation when you guys become friends. It means respect can never become part of the equation because your respect is based off of, does another woman have what you have? Does another woman intimidate you? That's when you respect another woman. But for us as men, I can be a man with money, but choose to be friends with a man that does not have money. Because he may not have money, but he has the skills of a mechanic. He can assist me. So I'm going to respect him whether he's poor or not. I'm going to respect him whether he lives in the hood or not. So because you guys see men become friends over the bare minimum, because you guys witness guys becoming friends when they don't have anything in common whatsoever, you identify it as romantic love because that's the only way and situation that a man can show respect and loyalty to another man, when they benefit from him financially or socially or stuff like that. Because that's what you as females base your friendships on. Because your friendships are so low quality and based off of superficial, materialistic and petty stuff. That's why your bar is so low that when you see men just act the bare minimum, just being normal men, showing respect to another stranger, you identify it as love. You guys always attribute negative connotations to the nature of men. Men don't want to date independent women because they are intimidated by them. How about no? A lot of them tend to be intolerant. Men don't want to date younger women because they want to be manipulative and controlling of them. No. How about men are just attracted to youthfulness, and the youthfulness is beauty? When you say men are homophobic, they are gays because they have such good friendships, it's based on your insecurity and projection of the poor friendships that you guys have as women. So the only condition for men to be good friends is if they are gay. That's why you are saying such nonsense, idiots.
I think the brother handled the foolishness from this young lady with aplomb. So instead of potentially diluting what he said, allow me to rather share a personal story to further drive home the point. I know personal anecdotes ought not to carry much weight in these sorts of discussions. However, I'm confident this is just one of millions of stories of the types of friendships men have. Gather round, gents. It's story time. In mid-2015, I was in the midst of one of the toughest periods of my life. Through a mutual friend, I met a guy who I shared similar interests with. Not long after meeting, this guy and I became friends. I was over at his house almost every day. A week into our friendship, his parents dropped a massive bomb on him. They're getting a divorce. Understandably distraught, this new friend of mine needed a change of environment from his familial home, and he started reaching out to all of his friends for a place to crash. After being unsuccessful with his regular homies, he reached out to me. Upon learning what he was going through, I immediately stepped up to help where I could. I can't stress this enough, and without getting into too much detail, I was in no position to help anyone, considering the dire situation of my own life. But I believe my words to him at the time were something along the lines of, "Bro, I don't have much to give or offer you, but we can chill, hang out, drive around, talk it out until you feel better." He agreed, and that's exactly what we did for the following week. At the end of that week, he went back home with a clear head and dealt with the situation at hand. In late 2018, the romantic relationship I was in came crashing down. As fate would have it, the only friend I could call upon to help me navigate that situation was this friend that I had previously been there for. Funnily enough, the now ex-girlfriend I was breaking up with absolutely hated this friend of mine and made very little effort to hide that fact from either of us. Fortunately, I'd drawn a line in the sand and kept my friend throughout the years prior to the breakup, because when my relationship ended, he was there for me as I had been there for him all those years before. 7, nearly 8 years later, we're still bros, and our weekly catch-ups have become monthly, telephonic or video calls with an annual face-to-face visit just to keep up appearances. Alright guys, what are your thoughts on the attack on masculinity and male friendships? Do you have a bro? What built the bond between you and your bro? I'm keen to hear your stories in the comment section down below. Please hit the like and the subscribe button because it helps with the YouTube algorithm. I'm currently past halfway towards my goal of 1,000 subs, so thank you to each and every one of you that are now part of the community. If you enjoyed this video, click or tap right here to watch what the YouTube gods recommend for you from this channel. Thanks for watching. Peace.